Good morning, everybody. How we doing? Sammy and I, People's TV, here for a busy show. We got a double Here We Go yesterday. We got Ayden Heaven from Arsenal, the 18-year-old, maybe going to be a first-team player. We'll speak about him a little bit later, but we got the one that we've been waiting for, and that's Patrick Dorgu. We got the Here We Go yesterday, a €30 million deal, plus €5 million in add-ons that aren't easy. We'll run through the deal. He is flying into Manchester. His medical is booked for Thursday. I don't think he'll be in the squad for Crystal Palace, but I imagine that lines him up for his debut at home against Ruud van Nistelrooy's Leicester in the FA Cup on the 7th of Feb. We'll speak about that. We'll also run through some comments from Ruben Amorim in his 960th interview of the season. Speaks about Rashford, speaks about Casemiro, speaks about the pressures at United, which I think is actually quite a good interview. We'll also speak about Mathys Tel and the fact that he's going to be leaving Bayern Munich, and now United are linked with a move for him. We'll speak about that. And there's more. Casemiro, Garnacho, United hiring some sort of running expert. Hey, it's going to be a busy show. As always, as it is every single day here on United People's TV. Make sure you please do drop a like on this video. It makes a big, big difference, all right? Let me see who's here from the mod and the member gang, and I can see JC. Is that JC? It's JC. It's the man himself. It's Jesus Christ. No, is it? Who else has got JC in here? Anyway, JC's in the comments, gifting 10 memberships to everybody. I'm looking forward to by the way, I have been working in the background on the community side of things. Going to be bringing more to the members and more for those who gift, and maybe a leaderboard and all fun things that I think need to level up this community. I've been wanting to do it for a while. All right. Carl, good morning to you. We've got Stephanie there as well. What are the blue faces you got down there? Can't see anybody else down there. Eric, you just gifted 20 to kick off the show. I tell you what, it's going to be a happy show, I think, today, because United fans will be like, finally, we've actually made a signing. It has been a slow January transfer window so far, but I think the Rashford situation has kind of played a part of that. What other members we've got here as well? We've got Eric, who's just gifted some memberships. JC, we've got Jack Ray, we've got Ravel, we've got... anyone else remember Ravel? If your mother only knew. The man who could beatbox and sing at the same time. Big up. I swear that was Ravel. I just made that up. No, it was Razel. Ravel. Shut up, Sam. If your mother... That's got me going back to the old school internet. Chris, John, and Ryan, good morning to everyone. Let's get into the show, all right? I want to quickly start the show with a comment here from Ruben Amorim on the pressures at Manchester United, right? And here, talking about how, yeah, there's pressure at United, but if this was happening at Sporting and we were in Portugal, I mean, the players could hardly go out in public. They certainly couldn't play at home. Well, they could, but in terms of the pressure works in different ways. I think at United, the external pressure is so much more than the internal pressure. And I think what Ruben Amorim is suggesting here, and we know this is the case, is that it's a flip reverse at Sporting. The internal pressure is a lot more than the external pressure. And you remember this happened when I think they missed out on Champions League qualification, and I think they lost the League Cup final a few days later. Hooligans attacked the ground, and it was a bit nuts. Like, players actually terminated their contracts. Covered that all in the Ruben Amorim deep dive that we did. I just thought that was an interesting quote from Ruben Amorim, effectively saying, like, lads, like, if you can somehow switch off to the external pressure, you'll find that it's very different in terms of how you're feeling. If you can switch off to what the media are saying, if you can switch off to what other fans are saying and the noise that exists around Manchester United, the pressure actually at home is not as anywhere near as bad as it. So if we were 14th in the league in Portugal with Sporting, yeah, you couldn't go out for a custard tart. You couldn't go out at all. I thought that was an interesting one. I think it's him trying to give a little bit of perspective maybe on the pressures at United compared to everyone else. And following on from that is going to be our latest venture into United People's Productions. And our video tonight is going to be on Maguire. Kind of leads on from the conversation there about the pressures of playing for United and being able to come through. And I think Maguire's story is one that should be told. I called myself out about 7 times in this video because I know I went harder on Maguire than I have on any other United player. I stand by what I said because I focus purely on the professional perspective. But I think his sort of story of resilience means he's now turned from maybe a scapegoat into a bit of an example for other players in how to come through it and how to become a better and stronger player as a consequence of it. Do I think Maguire's going to be here in the long term and be an incredible... Well, I think he'll be here for 1 more year. And I think United will then move him on. But I think the fact that he's managed to overcome where he was to where he is now, therefore, makes him a good example for others to follow. So that's going to be going out at 6 p.m. tonight. I hope you're liking these movie posters, by the way. As I said, we're trying to level everything up, trying to make it a bit more of a Netflix vibe. You wait until you see this one we've got on Amram and Fergie. It's a wicked poster. I think it might be my favourite one so far. But that'll be going out at 6 p.m. tonight. Thank you very much. Who's that? Shax. Every time I see your name, Shax, I think Shanks and Bigfoot. Sweet. So you gifted 5 memberships. There you go, dude. Anyway, that's going out at 6 p.m. tonight, so make sure you check that out. Let's focus on all of the transfer news that has happened in these last 24 hours. Someone down there saying the game tomorrow, opinions on that. Well, there's a lot I need to get through before I can even talk about the game tomorrow. Just to let you know, because the content is so busy, the starting 11 video for the Steaua Bucharest game, we're going to do it live tomorrow as part of the morning show. So the last 20 minutes of the show, we'll do the starting 11 together, live and more interactive, and you might even enjoy it in that way. But that's going to be the live video tomorrow, because tomorrow's lunchtime video is going to be the deeper profile on Dorgu, the one that we do for every signing that we make, sort of helping you understand, showing you clips of his game, showing you what he'll bring. Okay? But Dorgu, we got the here we go yesterday, right? Verbal agreement in place, 30 million euros up front, plus 5 million euros in add-ons that are not guaranteed. That's the words that Fabrizio Romano used. Long-term contract, which I think is 5 years? Thereabouts. This feels like a very fair price and a pretty decent deal for United. There's separate reports from Italy that are suggesting that Dorgu's salary, now this isn't confirmed, so don't take this as gospel, that Dorgu's salary is somewhere in the region of 30 grand a week. Now, I believe he was on 10 grand a week-ish at Lecce. So you made a move and you tripled your salary. That's great, right? That's great. Well, it is great. I'm not downplaying that. But this deal feels like a very good deal for United. £25 million up front for a player who we're signing from a he's in the top 5 leagues. Lecce might be in a relegation battle, but Dorgu was linked with plenty of other clubs. And there's normally a United tax, and the fact that we are where we are in the league and the fact that everyone knows we need a left wing back, typically you would have expected that to be more. I think this is a good deal that has been done. And I'm going to... Oh, wrong thing. I'll pull that up next. And I'm going to credit Jason Wilcox and Omar Barada for it. These are the sorts of deals we need to be making more of. And I'm going to say this. I said this yesterday on Twitter and I'll say it again now, right? Is Dorgu guaranteed to work out at United? No. Is any signing guaranteed to work out at United? No. But the fact that he's going to cost us 30 million euros and that 5 million euros in add-ons, they're not guaranteed, and they should be linked to Dorgu being a success at United. If he goes on to make 100 appearances for the club, well then, you can have some more money. That's fine. If we go on to win the Premier League or the Europa League or the Champions League with him, yeah, you can have a bonus, fine, because that means we've been successful. I'm fine with the add-ons being linked to United being good. No, like not just, if he makes 7 appearances, then you get another million. Something ridiculous like that. But for the fact that it's only 30 million euros up front, And the fact that it's only 30 grand a week, thereabouts. Well, it's not going to be any, it certainly won't be over 100 grand a week. These are the deals that United can afford to make mistakes with. Now, when we've been doing deals like 85 million for Anthony, 70 million for Casemiro, and even 72 million pounds for Rasmus Højlund, there is an insane amount of financial pressure that goes on the club for that transfer to work. And when it doesn't work, well, you're left with a player like Anthony, who you've had to send out on loan to Real Betis and had to swallow the 85 million euro loss because his stock has gone down so much and his wages were too high that nobody wanted to sign him. You've got Casemiro, who's sitting here now on north of 350 grand a week, and we can't move him on. Great for one season, short term, and we're suffering as a consequence. This Dorgu deal, add it into all the other younger signings we've made. If it works out, brilliant. We've got a first-team quality player for 30 million euros. And if it doesn't, in a couple of years' time, when he's 22, 23, we'll be able to sell him on, probably for a profit, even if it doesn't work out. That, ladies and gents, is how you sustainably build a squad. That is how you spend your money wisely. And fingers crossed, it does work out with him. He's versatile. He's got all... United have done their due diligence. We could have quite easily signed Alvaro Fernandez for 12 million euros less. The deal was there from the first day of the window. We didn't want to do that. We chose not to do that. They looked into the metrics. They looked into the data. They did the eye test. And I'm sure Amorim was involved. Dorgu was the man that they wanted. And Dorgu was the man that they got. And I'm looking forward to seeing him. And this is the latest from Fabrizio this morning on him. United have booked the medical for Dorgu on Thursday. So he's flying into Manchester today. So you're going to get the pics of him coming off the plane. I always remember... Anyone always remember the... I've got to pull this photo up again. It just makes me laugh. There it is. One of the greatest photos that has ever existed when it comes to United transfers was when we signed David De Gea and he got out of the car and they put up a bedsheet so no journalists saw him. I've got it, lads. I've got it. Fuck. Didn't realise he was going to go in the door. Anyway, that will always crack me up. But Dorgu will be in Manchester. Look, you can't expect him to be in the squad against Crystal Palace. I don't think that's going to happen. You know how work permits are always seemingly delayed. And I think Amorim, given the choice, two choices, would I rather rush Dorgu into the team, the squad, without training, without really meeting anyone, to play in the Premier League against Crystal Palace? Or would I rather Dorgu, we give him 3-4 days to settle in? He's going to be having to find a new home. I don't know whether he goes into a hotel to begin with. No idea. He's going to choose the latter. Give the lad a few days to meet his teammates, to settle in, and then if he's fit and ready, then go into the squad to face Leicester in the FA Cup, and a game with less pressure as well. That's the right way to bring him in. I'm excited for it. What do you all think about the Dorgu signing? All right, leave your comments on it, and I'll read a few out. Firstly, my word, we don't have to see Dalot or Mazraoui playing as left wing back anymore. We've actually... How long has it been? I don't even want to know. I don't even really want to think about it. It feels like legitimately 18 months since we've had like a left wing back who's fit, who's capable to play there maybe more than once a week. And he's actually a wing back. The attacking side of his game is going to be the part that probably comes most naturally. So I imagine that if there's going to be weaknesses with him, he might get caught out of position. He's got the athletic profile to be able to cover that ground, a bit like Malacia did before his injury. Let me see what you're saying in the comments. Christian saying you think it's a good signing. Tio, you're saying you're just happy we've got a left back. It's definitely an upgrade on what we have, and that's for sure. It's great to see a manager buy a player on merit and not because they have worked with them before. Look, Ten Hag didn't work with Højlund before. It wasn't as if every single signing that Ten Hag made was Dutch. In the first season, there was a lot of them. Not a huge fan of him, but you can't argue, says Volpez. What's he saying down there? Too many comments coming in. You can't argue it's a great deal on prices. I'm not sure how you can't be a huge fan of him. Look, let's be honest. Not all of us have watched much of him. I've watched a fair bit of him. I've watched a fair bit of him playing because I'm doing the research. But we'll get to learn who Dorgu is while we watch him, in real time. I can see everyone's feeling a bit chirpy this morning. Maney has gifted 5 memberships and left a little comment there saying, I'm welcoming Dorgu with open arms. It feels strongly this is an Amorim involved in your signing. Price and age profile feels right too. There's a lot of sort of like boxes that were ticked. Kind of wrong way to describe a signing, really. But it's the right age, it's the right profile, it's the right money, it's the right salary, it's the right athletic style, it's a wing-back. There's a lot to like about him on paper. In reality, we'll see how he settles in. Gaz, thank you for gifting 10 memberships too, dude. Legends, all of you. If I was to say, look, the profile video on Dorgu is going to be coming out tomorrow, fingers crossed. Lunchtime today, I'm going to do a video on how United line up with Dorgu. We'll put him into the team. We'll talk about maybe the partnerships that he'll build, the typical patterns that he'll bring to the game, maybe how we'll slightly change our build-up. And then tomorrow will be the more in-depth profile, looking into every aspect of his game, all the strengths, examples of them, all the weaknesses, examples of them, and sort of what to expect. Siraj saying data style, scouting, signing. If money, and this is actually quite an important point to make. Don't know why I just thought about this. If money was the most important thing to United, we would have signed Alvaro Fernandez. If money was the only thing deciding what players we signed and what players we didn't sign, we would have signed the player that was 12 million euros cheaper. Right? Because he was right there. The buyback was right there. But Amorim, probably, and Wilcox and everybody else pushed for Dorgu, chose Dorgu, which tells you that the priorities at the club when it comes to signings isn't just about the bottom line. Because if it was, we would have signed the player who was significantly cheaper. Jonathan saying some people suggest Dorgu can do the Quenda left-footed right wing-back role. It's a good question there, Jonathan. We mentioned this in the video tomorrow, the more in-depth video. He could do that, but a lot of what makes Dorgu good and a threat exists on the left-hand side. So we do have that is the kind of typical style for Amorim on that right-hand side, the right wing-back, to play a converted winger or someone who's comfortable also playing further forward and left-footed. So that's where Ahmad slots in perfectly, right? Takeoff saying Dorgu was the one and only choice. He wasn't. We had Alvaro Fernandez there the whole time. Christian, thanks for gifting 5 memberships there too, dude. I should bring up the old digital gongs back. I have stopped them. I've got them here, but I haven't got them set up. Need to fix that. Is there a sell-on clause for Alvaro Fernandez? I mean, I think there is. I don't actually know off the top of my head. But I'm excited to see what this lad can do. We're probably going to be seeing him land in Manchester later today, going to Carrington, medical probably on Thursday. That's what Fabrizio Romano is suggesting. So if his medical's on Thursday, you do your medical, you do the media duties, etc. You could get an official announcement on Patrick Dorgu maybe late on Friday or maybe on Saturday. But I don't think it's going to be in time for the game against Crystal Palace. And I don't think that's a bad thing. Just let him settle for a few days and bring him in against Leicester. But looking forward to seeing him. And let's just put that in a pub quiz. What is this? What's happening in this photo? And you're saying, question is, are people going to be patient? 3 or 5 years for us to flourish? Well, we know what the plan is. Project 2028. Win the league in the 150th anniversary of our football club being established. That's the aim. The vision is very clear at United. They've made that obvious. That's where they're aiming towards. What is it now? 2025? So we've got 25, 26 season. 26-27 season, 27-28 season. So we've got 3 seasons starting from next season to win the league. If that project 2028 is going to happen, we'll find out. But on top of a deal for Patrick Dorgu happening yesterday, which is exciting, let's speak about Ayden Heaven before we have a conversation about Mathys Tel. That's going to be the next conversation. But Ayden Heaven, we got Here We Go yesterday as well from Fabrizio Romano, as United made a move to sign the 18-year-old from Arsenal. On paper, this to me looked like an academy signing, but Finn, who's Academy Scoop, is actually saying that he's going to come in and be an understudy, effectively, to Lisandro Martinez at left centre-back. And I did a video on him yesterday, really brief, really top level, just showing you some examples. When he was in the West Ham youth team, he was actually an attacker. He was a forward player, got shifted back into centre-back because he had a massive growth spurt. And even only a couple of years ago, he was playing more as a number 6, but then moved back into a centre-back position to learn more about defensive positioning. That's what makes him far more comfortable on the ball than your average centre-back. He's left-footed. It's the exact same sort of profile as Jared Branthwaite. So that, for me, rules out any move for Branthwaite in the summer. You know, we tried to sign him in the summer, then we went after Yoro and De Ligt instead. So I think now what you're looking at is Lisandro Martinez, an understudy of maybe Ayden Heaven. We'll find out for the second half of the season how involved Heaven will be. He made his Arsenal debut this season in the League Cup against Preston. But will he be ready enough to be an understudy to Martinez? Oh, well, we'll see. But it's another exciting young addition. And into the string of other ones that we've done. I've already done 2 transfer videos on this. It was the strategy was clear to see in the summer. And I like the fact that we're just seeing more of it. Whether it's Diego Leon, Sekou Kone, Chido Obi Martin, Ayden Heaven, Lenny Yoro. All of them are teenagers. Patrick Dorgu. Could he convert into a CDM, says Robert? Yeah, I think he could. But positionally, he's coming into the squad from a left centre-back position. On paper. And also, I mean, with a name like Ayden Heaven, you need that. You need to see him come on, make his debut at Old Trafford, somehow score, find that poster and just do that. Do that in front of the banner in the Stretford end. That would be a 10 out of 10 photo. Nino Manchi's there saying it's De Gea's first clean sheet. I like that. It's quite funny-ish. Let me see what you're all saying down here in the comments about him. Manchester United will turn Ayden Heaven into hell. Bet you're happy about that one. Branthwaite, yeah, he'll be too expensive. Branthwaite's off the cards completely, man. He's not going to be signed. And I think that's a good thing. I understood I was really pushing for... I'm not really pushing for Branthwaite, but I really understood why he would have been a good signing. But now we're making headway in filling the squad. Godwill Kokonki, of course, exists under Ayden Heaven. And what that does... Remember, Kokonki's only 16. 16. He could be in and around the first team squad for 2 years and still be a teenager. That's how age works, Sam. Well done. But bringing him in maybe releases the pressure on Kokonki and allows him to really develop slowly, kind of in the background, lurking in the shadows. Might be a good thing. But Ayden Heaven, okay. That's 2 Here We Goes that we got yesterday. And then we move on to what I think is an interesting conversation. Mathys Tel. Now, we have needed an attacking signing all January, really. And Mathys Tel has not been part of any conversation that we've had. I tried to update the boards this morning. I probably missed a few names, but you can see some of the names that we've been linked with there. Kolo Muani, right? Is he gone to Juve now? I think he's gone to Juve. Osman, that's never really moved. Vlahovic, that's never really moved. Evan Ferguson will be leaving. I can't remember who Kangin is. Nipan looks like he's choosing between Arsenal, City or Villa. Agahawa, we have never been really in for him. That's the Porto striker. And Nkunku and Tel are two that we've been linked with now towards the end. So this from Fabrizio Romano yesterday was a bit of a surprise, saying that he's just decided to leave Bayern Munich in January. Bayern and the player side will assess all options in the market. Chelsea asked for Tel at the beginning of January, but there are more clubs also keen. The race is open. So I want to ask you down here with a cheeky poll. Should United make a move for Tel? Show and tell? I'm sure there's some sort of pun to be made there. Everyone loves a good pun, right? Someone's saying down there, Ferguson's going Leverkusen. That would be a cracking move for him. Wow. That would be good. But a little bit more information on the Tel situation from Fabrizio, saying that he's now decided to leave Bayern in the January window. His initial plan was to stay after speaking with company, but 0 minutes in his last 3 games have changed his idea. He's available on the market with over 7 loan proposals, and Bayern also potentially open to a permanent move. Chelsea asked for him earlier in the window, and United have last night, from Florian Plettenberg from Sky Sports in Germany, been credited with an interest in him. So my question to you is, what's your take on this? Look, Tel is somebody who, I think last season, was it last season that he moved to Bayern from I think it was Stade Rennes? And he was banging in plenty of goals at the start of the campaign. He's someone who can play on the left. He's left-footed, plays off the left, can cut inside, can play centrally, has got a finishing variety. He's not I can see quite a few of you down there in the comments saying, look, the last thing United need is another young striker. Well, I think the last thing United need is nothing. And I keep saying that. Beggars can't be choosers. There's a lot to like about Tel. Could it be, this is that sort of hypothetical football manager style transfer, but could United try and involve Marcus Rashford in a conversation? I think Chelsea tried to involve Nkunku in a conversation previously. Maybe they're going to do that again. Is Tel right-footed? Well, there you go. He's right-footed then. He's confident enough with both of his feet. I'm going to see what the poll is saying. So we've got 500 votes here. 81% of you are saying yes. That's pretty damn overwhelming. When it comes to any signing, I don't really want United to get anybody either in terms of an attacking position. I don't want United to get anybody who we sign permanently or with an obligation to sign him. Which probably means that in an ideal world, we would sign him on loan for 6 months with an option. Because I think in the summer is where we attack the striker market properly. Obviously, the Gyökeres conversations will come up again in the summer. There'd probably be question marks about the futures of Højlund and Xerxes, given what's happened this season. I'll be interested to see whether this goes any further. United have been credited with an interest in him. And if we go to the active board, I've only got Nkunku and Tel down there. Is there anyone else that you think we should be adding on that list? Now, I can see Osimhen down there saying, Rio is right, Osimhen is needed. I'm not saying that Osimhen would be a bad signing, but I don't think that we'd be able to sign him on loan. And I don't want to sign a player in the attacking sense in January, either on a permanent deal or with an obligation to buy him. Because I think where we are right now is we're kind of a bit desperate. And when you're in a desperate mode, you can sometimes make rash decisions. And I feel like United doing anything that would involve a permanent deal in the summer might be the sort of decision they might regret. Someone's saying Guirassy, Cunha. I mean, you could put Cunha on there, but we all know that we can't afford Cunha. What is he like? 70 million euros? I don't even know. An absolute bucket load. I suppose I should put him on the board though. Players linked. I mean, I love Cunha, but I don't think that's going to happen. Right, let's update that one. Active transfers. Cunha's fair enough. I think Cunha's a fair one to get on here. Credited with an interest, but he is very spenny. Boop, boop, boop. Right, there you go. Active. Updating in real time. Yeah. I don't think there's any move that's really going to happen for him. And you're talking down there about Forest maybe making a move for him. I think price would dictate, I suppose. Let's find out whether this deal with Tel goes any further. But as you can see from Florian Plettenberg, and this does kind of feel where United are currently at now. Any move for an attacker, I think, does rely on what happens with Rashford and Garnacho, or Rashford and or Garnacho. Now, the good thing is, I'll speak about Garnacho next. It looks like that's all sort of quietening down and nothing's really happening, which is what I wanted to happen. I don't want Garnacho to leave in January. If you want to entertain the conversation, then entertain the conversation in the summer. It was never a conversation for January. But we've seen so many clubs linked with Rashford now. I don't know. Daily Mail just whipped out a list yesterday. Tottenham, West Ham, Dortmund, Juve, Napoli, Galatasaray, Barcelona. All these clubs all want Rashford, but nobody's willing to pay how much is required because the wages are nutty. Sound like Austin Powers there. Surprisingly, we're hearing that Dortmund have actually come up with the best package for Rashford. If Dortmund are coming up with the best package, then boy, have the other clubs been lowballing United for Rashford. No move for him yet. Nothing. You're now hearing Jamie Jackson, who I found out yesterday I'm blocked by on Twitter. I think it was... I dug him out for... I think he was kind of going double in on Kobbie Mainoo, and it pissed me off. So I called him out on it, so I got blocked. Anyway. And this is the only journalist I've seen saying this, by the way, that Amram and Rashford are no longer on speaking terms at United. But I want to pull this quote out here, right? This is from that interview that I covered at the start. Ruben Amram's, I don't know how many interviews he's done now, but the interview with TNT Mexico, and he was asked about the Rashford situation. And he said this, he goes, I don't want to send messages to anyone. I'm simply very clear about what I expect from my players. I have high standards in certain aspects, but I'm a coach like any other. There are just certain red lines that I believe must be followed for a group to win matches and titles. And if those lines are not respected, everything becomes subjective. Some things must be crystal clear to the players. That's all. I'm not trying to send messages to anyone. Yeah, apparently TNT Mexico's thing. Who found out? But this is, again, something that I've reiterated time and time again. I don't feel it's ever been personal with Rashford. He's just not putting in the hard yards required to impress the manager. And at a time where examples have to be set, he's setting one. And Garnacho coming back into the squad is another one. But that's why Rashford is out of the squad. I do personally, I think we've already had this poll yesterday. I actually think Rashford's going to stay now. I think he's priced himself out of a move. He's not been willing to take a compromise on the wages. United have not been willing to pay enough of his wages that other clubs would be like, yeah, fine, all right, in you come. And it's that stalemate. I think he stays, and if he does, and then he puts in the graft in training, because at that point, if Rashford wants to do anything, he's not just going to waste 6 months of his career. He could, I suppose. Just sulking in the background and not working in training. That would be kind of counterproductive for him at that point. And then you got the Garnacho situation, which I'm happy that nothing seems to be happening. Napoli came in with a bid for Garnacho, think around about the 50 million euro mark. Chelsea were credited and were expected to make a move for him, but nothing happened in that sense. And it looked like Napoli. So this is going to be an interesting one. See if that actually means that Napoli come back in. It looked like Napoli were going to sign Karim Adeyemi from Dortmund as their sort of replacement in the squad for Kvaratskhelia. But it looks like he's now staying at Dortmund, which means that Napoli need another attacker. Now, I would fully expect, by the way, fully expect Napoli to come in for Tel. And maybe one of the only clubs that will be willing to sign him on a permanent deal as well. So watch that space. But it really does feel like, as it stands, Garnacho is staying. I agree with you down there, Matt. Keeping Garnacho is the good choice. It's the right choice. Let me see what you're saying down here in the comments. James is saying Rashford at 27 should be a senior member of this squad who the likes of Garnacho look up to. The fact that Garnacho is training better than him and he's in the team says a lot about Rashford. It does say a lot about where he is mentally right now. He's been out of the squad for 11 games. You can talk about not being on speaking terms, but it's the fact that you got the Garnacho example right there in front of you. Two players who were dropped from the same squad at the same time, and one is now back in the team and is starting the last couple of games. And both players who were potentially up for sale. Very, very simple, like almost exactly the same situation, really, for Garnacho and Rashford, and they've handled it very differently. Sorry, but we shouldn't be putting him in the team under any circumstances, says Ryan. I think that changes if Rashford changes his attitude in training. It's as simple as that. Because you change your attitude in training, you change your attitude in the pitch, and all of a sudden you're like a better player, and then you're an asset to the squad. Callum, big up to you, dude. Saying, love the videos and lives you do. Always makes my shift fly by when I'm listening at work. I remember being at school. You know, at school, like the World Cup or the Euros was on, you always used to have like a Walkman. Yeah, I'm old. Go away. And you put the earpiece up your sleeve and you sit there like that in maths. Yeah. What was that? Isosceles triangle. Yeah, one sec. I used to love that stuff. I remember like World Cup 98 when they used to wheel in the TVs. I used to sit there and watch the World Cup. That was great. And of course, another example, which I will be running through today at 6 p.m, is Harry Maguire. Somebody who could easily have taken the Rashford stance and approach, but kind of knuckled down and forced his way back into the team simply by being better than others, by putting in the hard yards, which right now Rashford isn't willing to do. Yeah, I probably should have paid attention in maths. Let's be totally honest. Luke Shaw is back in full United training. That's quite funny. I don't know why I'm laughing so hard at this. It's not really that funny. Luke Shaw's sitting there going, hold on. United have signed who? They've signed a left back. Oh, well, fuck that. I'm fit. Let's go. You're about to see. You're about to see Luke Shaw go, woo! The best Luke Shaw you've ever seen for like 3-4 months, which is fine. I'm fine with that. Then we get a better player inside the squad for the second half of the season before we move him on in the summer. So easy to be cynical about things, but why was he even out this time? Was it hamstring? Can't remember. Either way, Dorgu being in and Luke Shaw genuinely being fit, but yeah, I'm going to reserve any judgment on that. Means United might actually have some options at left wing back, and more than one. Imagine that. Segue of that. Oh, flawless. Tyrone Malacia could well be leaving on loan. If we look to the leaving whiteboard, bam, this is where we are still quite busy. Got Malacia down there saying reports suggest that he could leave on loan. I'll speak about Harry Amas and Dan Gore next. We've got Casemiro, Rashford and Garnacho. I don't think Garnacho in one goes anywhere. But Malacia leaving on loan would make a lot of sense for the lad. He came through and he had that, I can't remember what game it was. Was it Europa League? I think it was. It was at Old Trafford. He got the ball, went over the top. I can't remember who it was. Don't matter. Anyway, he played better, I think, at Arsenal away. He's had some mixed performances. But with Dorgu coming in, and with apparently Luke Shaw back in training, and we've got Delo and sort of Mazraoui, I think this would be a good move for him. Someone saying, Chetan saying, I'm against it. We need to keep left wing back. Mathys is obviously not in the conversations. Right? And I think a loan move for him. Mathys will be leaving Manchester United in the summer. Luke Shaw will be leaving Manchester United in the summer. So for him to get a loan move, and maybe that would be the best thing for him at this point in his career. And that would mean we've got Dorgu there as who would probably be first choice. And then you've got, if Luke Shaw exists, and which apparently is in training, you'd have him there as an option. And then you'd have Delo or Mazraoui as the third choice. That's fine. That's enough. And then if Luke Shaw gets injured again, which invariably is possible, then you'd have Dorgu there and you'd still have Delo. I think a loan move would be best for him. I don't see his future at Manchester United. Someone down there. Let's quickly go back to that video there. I kind of said a little bit in jest. As I said, it is quite funny the fact that we've got a video of Luke Shaw back in full training the day after we signed Dorgu, but that's probably just the timing of it all. I don't wish an injury on Luke Shaw. I don't wish him any ill fortune. It's just I can't, as a United fan, rely on him anymore. I hope he comes back in, and I hope he remains fit for the rest of the season. But I'll believe it when I see it, sort of thing. Aaron Henderson, I don't know why you're comparing apples and oranges there. You say Luke Shaw and Mathys are leaving in the summer, yet we still have Lindelof. Why are you involving a centre-back in a conversation about left-backs? Lindelof has to leave in the summer as well. Bit of a weird segue, that. Let's see. Let's see whether Luke Shaw is going to be fit enough to maybe travel to... Probably won't. We play Bruges. Steaua Bucharest tomorrow. Looking forward to the game. And we better win that. My word, we better win that. Whoa, there's still more to run through. Oh. Gomindy saying 99% of fans are done with Shaw. I think a majority of us are, man. That's why we're so happy that we signed Dorgu. As I said, it's the best part of 2 years that Manchester United haven't had a left-back. Do you know how insane that is? Imagine your Sunday League team for like a month just had no one that had ever really played, no left-back. That's a stupid comparison, but a club of the level of United should not be without a player as important as that and in that position for that length of time. My God, has it hurt us so badly. But anyway, let's speak about Casemiro. And just a couple of conversation talking points here, right? Rob Dawson following up from, who was it? I can't remember. Someone else saying that Roma were interested in a move for him. And I thought this was definitely worth reading. This is from the Times yesterday, saying that Casemiro actually turned down a move to Roma earlier in the transfer window because he wanted to move to Saudi, where, of course, he'd get bumper wages. But no club has come in for Saudi. No club from Saudi has come in for Casemiro. I think even they're looking at him going, how much? Which, no, they don't do that. They don't care about money. Numbers to them are nuts. It's all about the players, the stature that they have, and how much they can grow the global appeal and spread of the Saudi Pro League ahead of them getting the World Cup in 2030. Is it 2034? Can't remember. I think it's 2034, actually. So I'm still confused as to why Casemiro's not gone there. He's been available all January. And this here from Ruben Amorim on Casemiro, I think it's just, again, it's not personal with him. It's just professional. Sometimes it's the system fit. Sometimes it's the player's form. When he was asked in that interview in TNT Mexico about Casemiro, we know that Casemiro nowadays has other qualities. Got the intelligence. He understands the game. Knows where the ball's going to be. But we are in a league that, and even I can even see this in the European competitions, there is a big intensity difference. Therefore, I feel our team needs players with high intensity. And sometimes we don't have them. We all know that Casemiro's qualities, and everything he has won, so I have nothing to add to that. It's just a selection choice. That's why Casemiro's not in the team. That's why Rashford's partly not in the team. Amram's not seeing the intensity in training required to put him in the starting 11 or even to put him in a squad. Same with Casemiro. Like, you can take it personally if you want, and for those players, it will feel personal. But when you step back, it's just about the minimum requirements at United. And Toby Collier has made a big old difference since he came in. Yeah, Dean, I agree. And it's just age, man. It's not because Casemiro's an arsehole. We just signed someone who has played at the very highest level with Real Madrid for like 7 years, and his legs are fucked. And then you put him in a league which is actually faster than the Liga, and then you play a system where you've only got one number 6 and he's got to cover like 40 yards of ground. It's just not going to happen. And then you sign Ruben Amorim, and with the requirements of those two central midfielders in the system, it doesn't suit Casemiro. There will always be casualties for every new manager that comes into any club. Someone down there saying, honestly think Casemiro could work well in the central centre-back role for Amorim. And that, I would say, there is some potential for. But Maguire and De Ligt are both vying for that spot already. Look, we need to find a solution for Casemiro. We haven't found one yet. Ideally, we get one at the end. If I was to put a prediction on it, I think Rashford will be a United player come the end of the window, and I think Casemiro will too. And I think we'll have to sort of suck it up with both of them until the end of the season and then be able to find solutions that suit all parties. But yeah, I think there's more chance of Casemiro playing central centre-back than there is him playing central midfield now. Oh yeah, this is a good. This will be a good video. Right, we know it was Ruben Amorim's birthday. So I think this is Ruben Amorim running the gauntlet.
Yeah, so we heard about this, right? So this is the gauntlet, shall we say? I think that
from Laurie Whitwell.
The players usually go through when they're back from injuries. I think we saw Lenny Yoro go through it. We saw Luke Shaw go through it, and then we've seen.
Man, I used to play that at school. Anyone else? I don't know whether this only existed in my school. Anyone else used to play a game called Fumble? You used to get a tennis ball, like the wall's there, and you had to throw the ball, and if it hit the wall, you were sound. But if you hit the window with a tennis ball, you had to leg it and touch the wall before somebody else picked the ball up and threw it against the wall first. And then if you didn't manage it and you got caught, you then had to run across the wall and somebody could lob the tennis ball at you. I remember I caught someone flush on the ear once. It was bad. I mean, it was good. It was a great throw. It was bad, though. And it started bleeding from the ear. Anyone else play that game? It's called Fumble. I used to like that game. A British Bulldog, man. That game got banned hard. Anyway, that's Ruben Amorim enjoying his birthday. More transfer news. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba. This really, really should not come as a surprise to anybody who understands how bad Manchester United's not how bad Manchester United's under-21 setup is, but how bad the under-21 setup is in terms of development compared to under-18s. United are looking for loans for both Gore and Amas. Both players. Well, Gore was on loan at Port Vale, got an injury, then came back, and is just in the under-21s, and it's just not good enough for him. He needs a better, higher quality of football. And for Harry Amas, who really impressed in the pre-season, United have clearly never thought that he's physically ready. And as much as people can moan about it, that United have made their decision, and that's why Amas has not come through. So loans for both of them would be good. In an ideal world, you'd like, I think maybe a League One loan. Ideally. League One or maybe a little cheeky championship loan. But that would be good. And that's why we've got both of those players upon the whiteboard. Amas and Gore, and United are trying to find loans for both of them. And if we look at the done deal, but the done ball, by the way, it's quite a lot of loans that have happened so far. You obviously got Anthony going to Real Betis being one there. Ethan Ennis going to Doncaster. Ethan Williams going to Cheltenham. Hugo going to Carlisle. Wheatley to Walsall. Kingdon to Rochdale. And I think lots more. I think Leicester were interested in Mathys, but United didn't let him go there. And I think that's probably down to game time, if I'm being completely honest. That'll be why he hasn't gone there. So if United... And for United's development of our youngsters, it's crucial that we get better at loans. I think we actually got rid of our loan manager, and we were going to bring in... I remember his face, can't remember his name. Can't remember. Somebody else to be a new loan... Michael Appleton from Charlton. If I just remembered that. Just boom. Came through. More loans equals good. And following on from... Where's that video gone? I lost it. I'll close it. Ah, you whopper. Following on from Ruben Amorim running the gauntlet is just this little snippet of news to end the show today. Solid 51 minutes of talking. I haven't really waffled. I mean, I've waffled a bit, but I haven't waffled too much. It's mad how much United news there is every single day. It really is. Please do, if you can, drop a like on this video. But United have drafted in Ashton Eaton's former coach to assist players with running mechanics. United have invited a world-renowned track and field coach into the club as a consultant to offer his insights on athletics, including the mechanics of running. And his name is Harry Mara. Harry Mara has been present at Carrington to lend his expertise to staff, partly on the best way to cover ground with speed and endurance, due to the emphasis for high intensity in Ruben Amorim's system. Now, Jonathan, you've said it down there and you've stolen my thunder. That is absolutely a Dave Brailsford appointment. That stinks of Dave Brailsford. Because United have got to be better. And maybe the coaches can be better in helping the players learn how to run with endurance. And it's just something that this team is missing. Well, not missing, but can just probably be a lot better at. So let's find out. Will United now, all of a sudden, but hopefully in the months down the line, this could make a little 5% difference. That's the whole concept, marginal gains and all that jazz. But we brought someone in because the players cannot run long enough. Simple. But yesterday, three things to say. One more time, 6 p.m. tonight, make sure you're on the channel and you drop a like on this video. This is the latest United People's Productions, and this one's on Maguire. We got the Here We Go yesterday for Dorgu. He's flying in today for his medical tomorrow. And we got Ayden Heaven. The Here We Go on him as well. And United have been credited with an interest in Mathys Tel. Let's see if this one develops. But United could very much do with an attacker. Yeah, Rashford, I'm probably even less. And let me go down to the poll again. You've got 1,700 votes. Big up to everyone. 79% of you are saying that United should make a move for Tel. Well, only time will tell. It's not even a mic drop. That's just an awful pun. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up the live show for today, and I'm going to get working straight away on the lunchtime video about Dorgu and how United line up. Thank you all for tuning in. Look at that, 2,800 of you watching. Big up to everyone. All right, have a cracking day. Maybe there's another Here We Go today. I very much doubt it, but I knew it was going to be a busy end to the window. It started yesterday, and I hope there's more to come, and especially with players leaving. Take it easy, everyone, and also signing an attacker.